Are you due for a raise? 99% of managers will give you that raise if you do this one thing. I got this advice from a senior leader, and I've seen it work time and time again for myself and for others. What is this one thing? You must make your manager look good. And I speak from experience here. When I haven't actively made my manager look good, I have been passed on for opportunities, raises, and even promotions. I've sprinkled in 7 lessons here and a couple bonus lessons, so keep an ear out and see if you can catch them all. So how do you make your manager look good? I'll take you back a few years for that. My wife was pregnant and I was a sole provider for our family. We needed a higher income to support our growing family. At work, I noticed there was a team, let's call it Team A, that wasn't performing. I spoke to my manager about it in our one-on-one conversation. He told me he was really concerned about that team and it was keeping him up at night. Now he was very ambitious. He had grown quickly in the ranks and this team being in the red didn't look good on him. So I offered to jump in and lead the team and turn it around. The first lesson here is really get to know your manager. Learn about their aspirations, their dreams, what's keeping them up at night, and how can you really help out. Then listen intently. In your case, it may be a project that your manager may need help with. Now some people blamed my manager for the Team A's underperformance, but the past didn't matter. What mattered was how I could turn it around and make my manager look good in the process. Over the next few months, I worked really hard. There were highs and lows. I hit some roadblocks and had to have some very difficult conversations. Maybe that's a story for another video. But eventually, I turned that team around and that team was starting to perform. During those months, I kept my manager updated in our one-on-one conversations. That's the second lesson here. Make your progress visible. Your manager may not care about what you did exactly or how you did it. They might just care that the work is done, and that's okay. I also made myself available to answer any of his questions and provided updates that he could then pass along to his superiors. I also planted the seed that in the near future, I would love to get a raise if he deemed that my performance was up to his standards. Now, we all like to believe in meritocracy, but let's be real, you don't get what you don't ask for, especially if your manager is super busy and has 100 things on their mind. So the lesson here is to ask, but do it with tact. If you're finding value in this video so far, smash that like button. It'll really help the channel out. As I was working on Team A, I noticed that there was another team, Team B, that was also having performance issues. So I asked my manager, now that Team A was performing, would he like me to go to Team B instead and turn that team around? He took me up on that offer. The lesson here is to be proactive. If you see an area where you could help out, offer to help. You also want to be mindful of your workload. You don't want to burn out, right? So this can be a great priority discussion with your manager. Talk about the different things that you're working on, discuss your relative priorities, and see where you can add the greatest impact. Coming back to the story, now I was the one who asked my manager if he would like me to go to Team B and lead that team instead. If he had approached me instead and asked me to go lead Team B, I would have said yes. The lesson here is be a yes person. Of course, as long as it doesn't go against personal ethics or company values. Remember how I said that some people blame my manager for Team A's underperformance? Well, they also blame my manager for Team B's underperformance. Whether that was the case or not, didn't matter. My goal was to make my manager look good. That's our goal here, right? So don't talk ill about your manager behind their back. That's the lesson here. Better yet, avoid gossip altogether about anyone. One of my coworkers talked about my manager behind their back, and my manager made sure that that person didn't progress at the company. You also want to be mindful of giving any critical feedback to your manager. Most managers say that they can take it, but their ego gets in the way. Coming back to the story, now I got Team B performing as well. This was the perfect time to ask for a raise, so I did. I started by giving my manager a heads up. Hey manager, I would like to discuss my salary with you. When would be a good time to chat? As a former senior manager myself, I can tell you that you don't want to spring this on your manager. This kind of a surprise is usually not a good surprise. In the salary conversation with my manager, this is what I told him. I love my job, but I'm unhappy with my current salary. I'm looking for a raise between X and Y dollars. Is there anything you can do to help me out here? The 7th lesson here, and I got this from a friend, is to know your number. Actually, know your range. What would keep you at this company? If you don't share your range expectations, they might come up with a number that's lower than what you're expecting. The phrasing really matters here, and every situation may have its nuances. So if you're looking for further support on how to approach this conversation, feel free to book a one-on-one coaching call with me. I'll link it in the description below. At this point, I'd made my manager look amazing to his superiors. He couldn't help but do his best to retain me. He couldn't afford to lose me. I'd also made it easy for him. I kept him up to date in our one-on-one conversations, so he knew exactly what I had done. So guess what? I got that raise. Now, if you want to get promoted, that is get more than a raise, what we just talked about is one piece of the puzzle. To learn about the other remaining piece of the puzzle, or rather the reasons that may be holding you back from getting a promotion, check out this video next. I wish you the very best. You got this.